Fridays at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. It is the 49ers game plan episode where we're going to talk about their game plan against the Los Angeles Rams from Monday Night Football.
Oh, the Rams game plan. Not Caleb's game plan in week 2 of the Madden League versus the Houston Texans.
No.
Fine. I'm still prepared. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Cutback crew, it's fine. Look at this beautiful TCC merch.
You were in full Madden mode.
I mean, I did just get done playing my week 1 game. I got to, screen cap Caleb's game for the Madden League. So, things are kicking up and heating up there. So, you can head on over to Patreon. You can become a channel member right here on YouTube if you want to see those games, because it's the only way you're going to see them, either on Patreon or right here as a channel member on YouTube. You can hit that join button down there. You can also just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of the videos. You may have missed out on some of the Friday Frenzy. Thank goodness those things are just up forever, and you can watch them and rewatch them as many times as you'd like. But Ant, we gotta shift gears and focus on the Rams game plan, not Caleb's Browns game plan against the Tech. Yeah, different different teams. It's fine.
One's real.
One's real. One's a video game in which you cannot draw correlations with, in which all of your draft picks can't eventually become superstars. And then on any given game, their dev trait doesn't automatically update if they play really well and become all pros.
That'd be nice if that would happen.
I mean, if that was real life, then, right, you just need one good game out of every guy.
Yeah, what if you actually got better from practicing?
You do in Madden. You think it would correlate there, that people would get that, but it's fine.
Nope. Game reps only.
Game reps only, and are the only ones that matter. But look, let's dive into the game plan and what the 49ers are going to need to do. The addition of Odell Beckham Jr. to this offense brings questions in terms of how can you possibly slow them down. This is what I keep hearing from. There's no way that you can possibly take all of these things away. And while that to an extent is correct, if you have that many weapons on the field, in theory, you're not going to be able to take all those things away. It's really not about taking all of them away. Sean McVay comes from a Kyle Shanahan scheme, or from a Kyle Shanahan system, a lineage, a tree, if you'll have it. They tend to scheme guys open, which means plays are designed for one of a few guys for them to go to, and occasionally, you can come back in space, come back across the field, and find that extra guy, that additional guy. With Matthew Stafford and his mobility limitations as a quarterback, and him dealing with the back injury right now and the ankle, it's really all about taking away his first few reads, the things that he wants to go to, make him hold on to that football a little bit more, because as you and I both know from watching the game film, the All-22 film, that is up on Patreon, that breakdown is, that interior O-line for the Rams is not good. It's a bunch of Daniel Brunskills they have playing guard right now.
Definite questions, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this. You do not have to take away all the weapons. All you have to do is make it appear you're taking away. It's all about, sleight of hand. You want to make him confused for a second, make him, not understand what he's seeing or what he's reading. That's what you're trying to do. And just because you have multitude of weapons doesn't mean the quarterback can go through all the progressions and get to the guys that he needs to get to. Because number one, you have the routes that are all different levels. You have routes that are going to take different timing. So as he's going through his progression 1, 2, 3, 4, number one, he has to be able to read the defense. So if there's a lot of movement, it could take a little bit longer for him to decipher what's going on. Second, he has to also figure out, where the pressure's coming. And if the pressure has time to get there before you can get to the fourth receiver.
True.
Odell Beckham, he could be a dynamic player, and maybe he is on some plays that fourth option, maybe the second. But if you don't have time to get to him, he's not going to make an impact on your team. So you have to find a way to confuse Matthew Stafford, get him on the move. Because we saw in the game film that we were breaking down that when Matthew Stafford was climbing the pocket, he would sometimes, throw the ball and elevate it. And make bad throws and bad decisions. So you can get him off his spot. You can attack him. But it's all about making him think he sees something he doesn't, making him delay a little bit on trusting his eyes, trusting his reads. And then you have an opportunity to get home, because there is a little bit of a weakness on the interior of that offensive line that hopefully Eric Armstead, DJ Jones, and those interior guys, maybe even our new guy as well, can handle on the inside and get after it. And let's see if they can cause some problems. And because Stafford doesn't have the mobility, like Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson have, you can run line stunts. You can really get after him. You can attack in a more aggressive style and more aggressive way. So push the tempo this week, get after the Rams, make him make quick decisions, and maybe you can get him to make a couple of mistakes.
It's important. We need him to. The 49ers in creating turnovers has been an issue. And I won't even say creating turnovers because they've had opportunities for turnovers. It's been completion of said turnovers. It's, securing the football and making the turnover, taking the opportunity for a turnover and actually converting it to the stat on the stat sheet. That's been the problem for the 49ers. Can they change that? Can they fix that? Absolutely. I've heard a lot of people say, well, you can't talk about Ant with the 49ers. You can't say if they just fix some things, they just correct some things, the game can go a different way because that's also true for the other team. Okay, yeah, you're right. But the team has to do those things,
Wait,
right?
what?
This is what I mean. It's like we're not allowed to say if the 49ers course correct and correct their mistakes, that it can change the outcome of the game because the other team can also do that. Yes. No one's saying that they can't, but what we're talking about is controlling what you can control, right? If you're the 49ers, what can you control? Your own mistakes, like the things that you aren't executing on. And if you start executing better, you make the job harder for the opponent that you're playing because now they have to do the same thing. They have to course correct and execute at a higher level. It's a game of chess, right? Like you're allowed to make mistakes, sacrifice some pieces, lose some things, but the end goal is the checkmate. It doesn't matter how you get to the checkmate, so long as you get there. You get to that end game and you get that win at the end is what matters, which means sometimes taking some chances, taking some risks, sacrificing some pieces, maybe sacrificing a drive for field position, things of that nature. There's ways that the Niners can do this and put themselves in better spots to execute. The problem is for the 49ers right now is you think you have a bunch of pieces that can do things on the chessboard. You're like, these are my A pieces, right? These guys can do this. These are my B pieces. They can do this. These are my C. They can do this. And then you get them on the chessboard, and all of a sudden the A pieces start not being able to do things that A pieces should be able to do. B pieces aren't being B pieces. C pieces aren't being C pieces. And now you're playing with a bunch of pawns, and you're like, well, this changes. This changes strategy and how I can attack and what I want to do with this team, this offense, moving the football, slowing a team down, taking them out of their strengths. The 49ers just aren't executing. People need to start playing at a higher level. Kyle needs to find a way to get these guys to be that team, be these players. We have the talent. The talent is available. It's here. It exists. We've seen it with our own eyes. All of us have. That's what's most frustrating about it for 49ers fans. Like, the talent's there. We all know it's there, but it's time. It's time for the talent to show up and show out and not just exist as this thing in our mind that we know.
That comment that you said, that we got. The reason it makes no sense, you talk about chess. You make a move on the chessboard and you take a piece away, it doesn't matter what the corresponding move is, that piece is no longer available.
It's gone.
That play is over. That was a victory. So when you make a change on those couple plays, it does in fact change the game. Now, can they make a play and counter that and do something big?
Absolutely.
100%. But that makes no sense because that play is gone.
Well,
you're not going to change that to, give and take. It makes no sense. And you're talking about guys, and Kyle Shanahan talked about A players consistently being A players.
He did.
And I think in some regard, he's calling himself out because he's saying, I got to get these guys to respond at that level. He's letting it know, he's being transparent that, hey, I'm not getting my guys to play at the top of their game.
Correct.
And Steve Young is saying the same thing, right? We've questioned Steve Young's dogs comment because if you really look at the team, we have guys that are capable of being dogs. But maybe that they're not playing to that level right now. Maybe that is what he's trying to say. I never know where Steve Young is going with some of these comments, but I do know the Niners have dogs in the locker room.
True.
Trent Williams is the biggest dog in the yard. Every single game he steps up. He is the best offensive tackle in football, and I dare someone to challenge me on that and go ahead and show me some film that proves otherwise. I would love that. Because
we got a clip loaded up and ready for you if you do.
Yeah, Trent Williams is an absolute freak of nature. He does everything the right way. He's a very solid left tackle. He's a future Hall of Fame left tackle in this league.
Absolutely.
And we got, I know people question Fred Warner, but he's an absolute dog out there. He's hustling. He's making plays. George Kittle, when he's on the field, is ratcheted up to 1,000. He had the most quiet 6 reception, 100 yards and a touchdown game. And the reason is because of the fumble, right? If he doesn't fumble, everyone's talking about, wow.
George Kittle.
Yeah, George is back in a big way, right? And George is going to be pivotal for this game plan because he's going to be important for Kyle Shanahan because Jalen Ramsey is going to be able to take a receiver for the 49ers away. And with the 49ers missing Mohamed Sanu, there's going to be questions about who that third receiver is. But with George Kittle there, you have a third weapon that's drastically important. You have a healthy Deebo Samuel, a healthy Brandon Ayuk. Who is Jalen going to be tasked with taking away? My guess is it's going to be a mixture between the two of them. He's going to go back and forth trying to take them away on certain situations. So Jimmy's going to have to decipher that. Kyle's going to have to decipher when they're doing that. And he's going to have to get these other guys in positions to be successful. Now, we know that Deebo Samuel's played well against the Rams before.
True.
It seems to be that they have decided they're going to take away other people. Sometimes they'll put Jalen Ramsey on George Kittle.
True.
But can these other guys stop the other ones? You know what I mean? Can Deebo Samuel, when he's not covered by Jalen Ramsey, and George Kittle, can they win in those opportunities? It's all going to be predicated on what they can do with that run game. If they can get the run game going, that's going to make the Rams have to commit another defender into that box. Once they do, they'll be able to get George Kittle the ball. Because I think he is a matchup problem for the rest of the Rams secondary. I think our second receiver, whether it's Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel at the time, because it's whoever Jalen Ramsey's not on, is a mismatch for the 49ers. Those are wins. Those are opportunities to win. But we have to get that run game going, and it's in a variety of different ways. There's no one way to skin a cat this week. You can't just go in there and run it, right at them. They're Aaron Donald's the freak of nature that he is. But I think you take advantage of what Aaron Donald does and that penetration, and you use ways to go ahead and trap him and get him going upfield and run beyond him. That'll also take some of the pressure off the offensive line to consistently beat him and move him off his spot, which is difficult. Take advantage of those two defensive ends, those outside linebackers that like to come up the field. Take advantage of them and attack underneath that. There's going to be a variety of different ways you can attack them. Just because they're talented doesn't mean that they don't also have weaknesses in areas where you can, approach attack. So I'm looking forward to the game plan for the 49ers because I think they can run the football. It's not going to be easy, but the Rams linebacker core is a little bit of a question mark. So the 49ers can attack there. If they get to second level, Elijah Mitchell leads the league with 19.1% of the time he gets 10-plus yards on a carry. That's explosive chunk plays. We need explosive chunk plays from the 49ers in this game. If they do, it'll set up things. Now, the way that the Rams are playing this five-man front, though, Alex, it's going to be hard for the 49ers to run boot play action passes.
Absolutely.
So they're going to keep him in the pocket, which is going to make it very important for a running back, a fullback like Kyle Juszczyk, a tight end, whoever, to be able to locate where Aaron Donald is and give help at times, or for Alex Mack and whichever guard it is to be able to handle him. Because if Von Miller's playing on the outside, you have big question marks about a rookie tackle or Tom Compton against Von Miller.
Either one. I mean, either one, it's a problem. And this is this is a week where the 49ers need it to be a defensive battle. They truly do. I mean, you need your defense to step up in a big way because there are areas of weakness right now with the 49ers and the O-line and just with what this team can be and what it needs to be this week.
So?
Against this front.
No, I know. That's why I'm honestly asking. You think so? Do you think that this offensive line is, can't maneuver enough to stop this defense?
They can maneuver enough, I think, to slow down.
Okay.
But consistently stop, I got questions. I got questions about that. Daniel Brunskill has not shown it this year at all whatsoever, and not having Mike McGlinchey in makes me feel like, you got one side of the line now where there's this glaring weakness, this glaring red sign that says, warning, warning, warning. And you have to think that there are going to be times, especially if Von Miller's going, where they're just going to load that side up and go at these guys.
Hopefully.
And yeah, I agree with you because you can go away from it. You can run away from it and go to the other side.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If you put Donald and Von Miller on the same side,
you can go to Trent. You can run at Trent Williams where
you're dynamic. That's why you almost have to split them. Because if you put them on the same side, it helps you in a pass situation. So if you're at 3rd and 9, that's not a good situation for the 49ers,
no,
right?
It's not.
Except you can slide protect over because you got Trent Williams.
True.
But it'll be interesting because I think at that moment the Rams could also blitz off the backside and overload and not allow you to double team. So
it's gonna be interesting because of that. I think that is a weakness that Kyle is going to be paying attention to, and it's in an area where the Rams can scheme and exploit that and create opportunities and avenues to attack, and maybe not even just necessarily by overloading that side, but like you said, getting you thinking about it, getting you moving that way, and then bringing that pressure from somewhere else, maybe even up the middle, late blitz, delay blitz, something on the outside. But you're right, the boot action is going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to successfully execute that this week with that 5-man front, no matter who is the guys playing on the edge. Whether it is Von Miller or whether it is Leonard Floyd, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah,
it's going to be a problem for the 49ers. That play action boot stuff that we like to do, that Jimmy seems to have success with. It may not be as accessible in your playbook, You may have to get yourself into situations where, they only go with 4 down linemen. The problem is those situations tend to be those second and longs, third and longs that you're talking about, where play action isn't as successful. So, you want to get into boot actions, you might not be able to get into those boot actions. This is one of those weeks where, I'm looking at what the offense can do and what they should be able to do. And there's still plenty of ways for the 49ers to attack with a healthy Debo, a healthy George Kittle, a healthy Brandon Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell stepping up in a big way. You still have Kyle Juszczyk. I mean, there's plenty of things that you can do. The question is the offensive line going to be able to hold up and do the things necessary, execute at the level that you need them to execute at in order for you to have that success, be able to not be so maybe one-dimensional in terms of where you can successfully run the football. Be successful at slowing them down at times on crucial downs, right? Second and mediums. Second and mediums are huge for the 49ers because if it's a situation where you want to pass, if the pass rush can be slowed down and give Garoppolo time to find a guy to get it to third and short or first downs, and they're not giving up sacks or pressures or incomplete passes, then we're not leaving ourselves in third and mediums, third and longs. We're leaving ourselves third and shorts and first downs. You're extending drives. So second downs for the 49ers, especially if you're having success running the ball early on first downs, is going to be the most important down each and every drive this week. And you get yourself in third and extremely short, and you get yourselves first downs on second and mediums. If you can continually do those things, you're going to start applying more and more pressure to the Rams, and then they're going to become more and more predictable with what they're doing because they're going to have to start bringing that pressure on second down, run blitzes, overloading, etc., to try and get after the quarterback, get after this run game, not let you have the 2 or 3 additional yards to get yourself into third and short, and keep you in third and longs where the 49ers have consistently struggled all year.
If ever there was a week to go against Tennessee, it's this week. So when you're playing on first down, don't run the football. Throw it. When you're on second down and if it's second and short, throw it. Take advantage of those situations. Third and long, run a draw. Anything like that, go ahead and change it up. You got 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, run a draw play. Let those guys fly upfield. Be against tendency this week. Do an abnormal thing that Kyle Shanahan normally doesn't do. Go against the grain. And I think if they do that, they'll have success. Now, I think there's going to be opportunities for them to attack this defense because I think the aggressiveness up front is something you can take advantage of. So hitting screen passes, hitting draw plays, going ahead and running traps, all those things invite those players to come upfield. And then once those plays are successful, it makes them want to settle a little bit. They're a little, less likely to get upfield as fast and get it vertical as fast. And if they continue to, then you just continue to attack it over and over and over. So use their aggressiveness against them. And I think if they do that in this game, they're going to have an opportunity. But I think if they come up and they show these boxes with 5 guys up, they bring an extra safety and they're running 8 in the box, the 49ers are going to throw the football. I mean, that's the read. That's where you're going to go to. And Kyle's got to scheme it up to be able to handle that. So I think that's one thing they're going to attack. It's going to be what the Rams do is going to dictate how the 49ers operate off of that. So your 2 plays coming out of the huddle, you're going to have a run play. You're going to have a pass play on most of them. And I think most of them are going to be, how they're dictated by who's in the box. And if there's 8 guys in the box, they're throwing. If there's 7 guys in the box, they're running. And I think there'll be opportunities where they try to attack outside, even when they have an 8-man box. But it's going to be all about leverage with those tight ends. Can they hook Floyd? Can they hook Von Miller and not allow them to set the edge and still get outside? And also, can Debo and Brandon Ayuk get onto these linebackers, these outside linebackers, get onto these safeties? If they can, that's going to create, these big plays that the 49ers need. If you start getting chunk plays with Elijah Mitchell, that's when this offense really starts flowing. That's what you're missing from not having Raheem Mostert, was that energy that you felt from getting those plays. So it's going to be about consistency of moving the chains. It's not so much if you do it on first down, second down, or third down, just moving the chains consistently. And right now the 49ers haven't been winning on third down, so let's not even see third downs. Let's get it done on first and second.
Agreed.
And take advantage of, what the defense is giving you. If they can do that, they'll have an opportunity. And I'm curious if we see Trey Lance this week. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see at least one package with Trey Lance, just to see what happens. You can take advantage of Von Miller and Leonard on the outside. I think there's an opportunity there.
I think you're at a point now in the season, right, where it is about winning at this point. You got to start getting some wins to keep yourself in the playoff contention, right? You have to. So we said this a few weeks ago. You can't hold anything back. Jokingly referring to the water boy, but
I know.
We know. Look, but in to an extent now, that's where you're at. A second straight loss now this week. Another 2-game losing streak is not going to be beneficial for your playoff chances. It's just not, and you cannot bank on everyone else around you continuing to suck In order
don't know,
for you
they
to
suck
get
pretty
it,
good.
they do suck really, really good.
Remember, you only have to be the best of the mediocre.
You do only have to be the best of the mediocre, Ant, but I would like to be the best of the best of the best of the mediocre. But
too many bests.
It's still a lot of best. The 49ers, you think at some point here have to start going into all of the tools, pulling out all the stops. Kyle has started to.
Yeah.
We've started to see them doing different things, using guys in different ways, getting different packages out there, finding new ways to get guys the football. I'm seeing it on a weekly basis. I'm just wondering if we're ever going to see this Shannon plan that we all hoped that we would see.
No, we're not.
Ever?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that this is Jimmy's team until it's Trey's team. And I think that you might see a package here or there, but he was flirting with that idea. I think he flirted, he got us all excited about that Shannon plan idea. It would have been great to see.
Would have been glorious.
But he was never committed to that. He was just committed to confusing defenses early on in the season and trying to get some early wins. And it worked in situations, right? We saw it against Detroit. We saw it against Green Bay, and it was beneficial for the 49ers. And then we had some injury concerns with Jimmy, some injury concerns with Trey that's kind of flipped the script on that. But a big story and topic in this game, Alex, is going to be Travis Benjamin. How Travis Benjamin is used probably as the third receiver, because we've seen Jawan Jennings not be able to win. When Jawan Jennings is on the field, you look for run. I mean, that's one of the first tells.
Stacking the box.
One of the first tells I see with Jawan Jennings is, this is probably a run if he's out there. If you get Jennings and you get Charlie Warner together, run play.
Run play.
Yeah.
Run play.
And usually somewhere near them. You know what I mean? That they're very good blockers.
True.
But Travis Benjamin's a take the top off the defense, fly downfield. And we saw a little bit of that impact when he played against Arizona. There were times when those guys were flipping their hips and he was able to stop, and Trey was able to get him the football. And I know he got pass interference, but there was a lot of times where he just took the top off and allowed Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk to operate underneath. So I think that speed is something big for this offense. I'm curious how the Rams end up handling it, because that is going to be a matchup issue for them. We put him on the outside and we send him deep. Let's see what Deebo does underneath that.
It's going to be interesting. I think that he can add a lot of things in terms of opening up the middle of the field. And now you can attack in a variety of ways with a multitude of guys. You can send Kittle on some deep routes. You can send him outside, Benjamin over the top. You can send Benjamin on stop routes on the outside, on the perimeter too, outside the numbers. Those things are all positives for the 49ers. But no, you're the thing you were on about earlier about being against the grain, going against tendency is huge. You got a week this week where both coordinators, both coaches, both head coaches understand who they're facing. You understand what you have in the other guy. You know their deepest, darkest secrets. You've been best friends for the longest of times. They're best buds. You need to go against what your best instincts tells you, and then sometimes you need to rely and trust the things that you're seeing and do what is necessary. But these guys are both witty. They're conniving, so they will intentionally show things to try and get someone to think A and then do something completely different or go completely against the grain.
Yeah.
So this is the week to do it. This is the week to be as different as possible from what your typical tendencies are, to allow yourself to go outside of the box that you've maybe put yourself in or put the team in terms of comfortability wise, in terms of scheme, and let it rip, because you don't. I mean, the Niners have nothing to lose. I mean, it's been like this now for a few weeks, but they truly do. They have nothing to lose at 3-5. It's time to lay all your chips down on the table and see what you got and put the onus, right? Put the onus on these guys, your A pieces, your B pieces, your C pieces, whatever, to be the people that you think they are and to try and elevate.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting how they play it. If I was Kyle Shanahan early in this game, I think that they would expect you to run away from Kyle Juszczyk, so I would actually run right with Kyle Juszczyk. A lot of teams are getting used to seeing this guy go the opposite way. And then also, how are the Rams going to approach motion? Because we saw the way that Arizona attacked motion last week.
Completely sold out for it?
Completely sold out. And the 49ers ended up catching them in it a little bit. So early on in this game, don't expect the script, expect the script to have a bunch of motion in it. Because you want to see how these linebackers are going to respond. You're going to have some plays that are going to run right at it, some plays that are going to go away from it, and see how they respond. See how they respond to pulling linemen as well. 49ers right now are famous for pulling linemen, away from the play and just getting it set up. And then what I want to see from them this week is the play that I'm most excited to see, because I think the Rams will be worried about it, is pull linemen and then fake the reverse going that way and then hit the screen pass going the way that you pulled the guys. Because I think once they see that reverse, especially if you send Kyle Juszczyk back that way, they'll think it's the reverse. They've been burned by the reverse before, and you can hit the screen pass for a big play. So I would like to see that in the game plan this week. We'll see if I'm right. Every once in a while I get right and I pick up on something that I think they're going to do, and that is something I think they can do. So George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk are going to be pivotal in this game, not only making the blocks at the point of attack, but also being decoys in the in the motion game and decoys in the blocking game where they're going against the grain and the 49ers do something else with the running game.
And here's the other thing too, right? The big thing this week is going to be Jimmy's eyes and his keys and what he's picking up on and what he's seeing. So this motioning and all the window dressing that you're talking about is important because you want to be able to make things as easy as possible for Jimmy Garoppolo to diagnose and dissect what's going on. Because last week he missed 2 or 3 big opportunity plays, big plays, and not the stuff that's been posted on Twitter by a few people and on YouTube and Facebook. Akash posted a clip of a Brandon Ayuk one where Brandon Ayuk's running a deep dig or post in the red zone. And, they're talking about, I can't believe Jimmy missed this. The single high safety over the top sitting in the end zone, waiting for Brandon Ayuk to run across the middle of the field. The thing he misses is Kyle Juszczyk running the slant underneath, who's wide open. And he has him open for a long period of time. And he misses that because he's trying to go to BA. He's staring at BA. And they're like, here's Jimmy, box around Jimmy. Here's BA. He's going to be wide open if he just throws it to the middle of the field. And I'm looking at the film. I'm like,
and then
there's a single high.
He's going to get killed.
There's a single high safety. His feet are on the goal line. He's not going. He's waiting. And BA's at about the 6. He's got 6 yards. About a 25-yard throw. I think he's got plenty of time to get there before BA does.
He's going to close on it. Yeah,
he's going to close on it hard. So Jimmy needs to be able to see the field though, and make the right reads and see the right guys in space. So knowing what the coverage is and where guys are going to be, and that window dressing is going to be huge in helping him decipher that is going to be big. But also not getting fixated on something. If you're seeing something and they're showing you something, understand that Sean McVay and the defensive coordinator of the Rams, what they're trying to do, they know Kyle. They also know when motions are coming, what they're maybe trying to get or what you're trying to give with your look. So if you see something pre-snap and you start to drop back in space, make sure you recognize and locate where that guy is that's your key that's giving things away for you. Because as you're dropping back in space and looking, if that guy's not there, if he's no longer in that spot or he's somewhere else, well, your eyes pre-snap are now incorrect. What you saw pre-snap is no longer what it is, and quickly figure out what you got, get the ball to the guy you need to get it to. Jimmy's going to pick up on that and learn from that, but he got caught up a couple times last week.
Well, it's a little bit more difficult, with what was going on in that game. But
also true.
With Jalen Ramsey, sometimes it makes the reads a lot more easy.
Also
because they want to run man with Jalen Ramsey, and then they want to run zone a lot of times away from it. So you can decipher, what zone that is going to be by the movement and the motion. And you can create mismatches. And you said something interesting about them knowing what Kyle Shanahan does. You know who else knew what Kyle Shanahan was going to do was LaFleur. LaFleur knew what was going to happen, and he got after Shanahan early in that game. But in the second half, when Shanahan knew what LaFleur was doing to him, there was no stopping Shanahan once he made his adjustments. So the thing is, sometimes these guys know each other, and knowing each other can sometimes be a weakness. Because if you are so dead set that you understand what somebody's going to do, and then they flip the script on you, or you come in thinking they're going to flip the script on you and they come out and do exactly what you thought. Either way, you're second guessing yourself. So sometimes knowing someone is not always the best thing. So knowing somebody's tendencies is one thing, but being able to execute and stop those tendencies, or knowing if they're going to flip the script, and if you find the right balance between doing what they think you're gonna do and doing nothing like you think you're gonna do, you can really keep them off balance and going. So yeah, having familiarity with the coach. Having familiarity with the system isn't always a benefit. Sometimes it gets you in your head where you're looking and seeing different things than you should.
Agreed with that. It definitely can. This is going to be the ultimate chess match, I guess. Is the best way
it always is, right? McVay and Shanahan games have been fantastic to watch, whether they're high scoring, low scoring, battles to the end. It's always fun to watch because these guys know how to pull the strings and pick plays out.
True.
And put their guys in good situations to win. I'm hoping for a nice battle in this game. I kind of think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think both teams are going to struggle to stop the opponent. I'm in the minority in this situation.
You are.
That's okay.
I'm not. I see, and that's the thing is I'm not in the minority. I think they're going to score points. I just didn't think. What did you have it at?
38 to 32.
Yeah. I haven't seen it since week one. So for me, it's like until I can see it again, until I visibly can see the offense execute at that clip for 4 quarters. I'm gonna roll with they're a team that's playing in the mid-20s, and until then we're a mid-20s team, and defense has got to have to get those type of stops. But speaking of defense, I mean that's the next big thing, right? Is How is this defense going to be able to slow down this vaunted offense for the Rams? And we've talked a little bit about it already, Ant. But I keep wanting to go back to this interior and this D line. The interior D line is going to be huge, and Eric Armstead in particular is going to be a major problem for this Rams O line, whose interior has not been. They haven't been good. Let's just put it that way. Eric Armstead has been playing absolutely phenomenal, and Tennessee's D line is not like a bunch of home run hitting guys. It's solid NFL players and solid NFL talent, but they're not Eric Armstead. And Eric Armstead is going to have to feast. He's going to need to feast this week. And you and I both believe that Nick Bosa is going to have himself a nice day, just because their tackle play hasn't been spectacular. It's been solid, but not spectacular.
Yeah, there's an advantage for the 49ers defensive line to offensive line. I think that's a huge advantage, and sometimes that can be all the advantage you need. Tennessee got after Matthew Stafford last week, and this vaunted offense was held to 16 points. So if I was a prisoner of the moment, I would say there's no way they can score over 20 in this game. But I'm not. I understand how good the Rams offense is, and that's why I think that they're going to score points. But the 49ers can get them off their game. If they can stop the run, they have to be able to stop Henderson early in this game and create situations where Stafford is forced to make a play. Stafford is perfectly capable of making every play on the field. The guy is very talented. He has been a huge improvement over Jared Goff, which we knew that was going to happen.
Stunning.
If this was Jared Goff, I would feel comfortable about the 49ers winning this game.
Absolutely.
In dramatic fashion.
Absolutely.
But with Stafford, I mean, he makes things unsettling because he can make plays. But we've seen the weaknesses. And as he's gotten a little less healthy as the season progressed, some of his balls are starting to get errant. Some of his balls are starting to fly over people's heads.
You mean to tell me, and if your lower body isn't in sync with your upper body, that even with all the arm talent in the world, that Matthew Stafford is still going to struggle?
100%, especially with a back and ankle.
And an ankle.
And you're not able to push off, and you're not able to do the mobility things that you need to do. Yeah, you're going to throw some errant passes. And he also didn't read all the coverages as well and threw into coverage.
The Tennessee Titans did a great job at disguising, and it was just things like, showing a guy. We saw one time they had a safety kind of lower in the box, then he backs up a little bit, and then right before pre-snap, you had a linebacker walk up to the line of scrimmage, kind of hustle up to the line like he's blitzing. It draws Stafford's attention a little bit. He's going to snap the football, safety walks back down into coverage, and then just reads it the whole way and takes it pick six to the house.
Yeah, and he looked left. I mean, he looked left, and he thought he was going to be able to, the tight end was going to run something over the middle, and it was going to pull that safety with him. So I thought as long as he looked left, it was going to be fine. When he came back right, that safety went all the way to the outside and picked it off in front of the receiver. It was a great play and a great design and scheme, but it proves that you can confuse Matthew Stafford, that he's going to trust what he sees pre-snap. So if you do something late, it could throw him off. So the 49ers are going to have opportunities to confuse him, but they have to get after him. And I'm still worried about these run fits. I'm worried about the fact that we don't have Dre Greenlaw. Yes. And we're going to be in there with Z's and Fred Warner, and they've been playing Fred everywhere to do everything. And let's see, what they come up with. But
no, Fred is not just playing in the box. When they go nickel, Fred isn't just sitting in the middle for the run fit and just being like, hey, I'm here to stop anything that comes my way. No, he's playing outside. They have him out in coverage.
They literally had him last game splitting the difference between the bunch for the bubble screen outside the tackle and still expected him to get inside on a run fit. And he would get in there. I mean, and the thing is like, it's amazing to watch. He's one of those guys that's gonna want to step up in this moment and try to make a big play for his team. But Jimmy Ward could be huge as well. If Jimmy Ward's in there, I feel a lot more comfortable about the run fits. That'll afford Talanoa Hufanga to be able to come up in the box sometimes and play the run, which is going to be needed. I wonder how many times we see one of these linebackers at the line of scrimmage this week with a 5-man set. And I would even love to see the 49ers at times go ahead and put 5 defensive linemen up there and let Ebukam be an outside presence, playing like a linebacker style role, and just really get after him, stop this run, and make Matthew Stafford beat them consistently. But you have to do it against the right personnel settings, and you can't get caught up in a situation where you're consistently against 3 wide receivers with a non-nickel look in there.
Correct.
But if you run it right, I mean, these teams are doing this and taking it away. Maybe they could go to that, but it will put some pressure on the back end to be able to hold ground until this defensive line can get there.
You're right, man, and it's huge. It's key. It's important. The linebacker room is just a big question right now. As much as people talk about the cornerback room being a problem, I am firmly in the category right now that I don't know how much more of a problem it is than the linebacking core. Linebacking core's got some questions, and it's not Fred, it's not Dre Greenlaw when he's been healthy. Aziz for the most part has been great up until the last week or so. it's just the depth. It's not having the pieces. It's if Fred goes down, if Dre goes down, you don't have guys that are experienced and technique savvy and can go out and, maybe they get out muscled a couple of times, but at least they're in the right spot, slowing guys down, making guys bounce and cut into other defenders who are rallying to make tackles in space. And, you're preventing the gashing run, the big play. The gashing run last week, the Endo Benjamin just truck stick into the end zone. It gave me flashback nightmares to last year versus the Cowboys, right? Where Tony Pollard ran all over us in that second half and late in that game to really put the, this touchdown that kind of put the nail in the coffin for the 49ers. And that was a team that was weakened in the front. It was weakened in the secondary. And you had Richard Sherman being old at that point. I don't know, because that wasn't the Richard Sherman we're all used to seeing. It wasn't a fun experience. And that's what last week felt like to an extent. It felt like, oh man, for some fans, it felt like this is the end of the season. For me last week, what it was, man, we can't stop. We cannot keep digging these holes and putting ourselves into them and expecting this team to try and claw their way out of it. They haven't shown that they respond well to that right now, putting themselves in a hole or being in a hole early and trying to climb out of it. I know that they've gotten close a few times to climbing out of those holes, but we haven't seen it consistently. We haven't seen this team get into a big hole, climb out of it, and come out with a win at the end of the tunnel. Right? We haven't pulled what Baltimore has done for 4 of their 5-6 wins on the season, which is get down stupidly big early and then have an insane second half. It hasn't happened yet. It also bit them in the butt this week, Thursday night, and against Miami, where they weren't able to do that. It's not a continual recipe for success. So if you're the 49ers, take care of the football, try and create some turnovers. Defensively, take away their strengths, neutralize that run game, disguise, make Stafford second guess himself, get some sacks on second down, put them in third and longers where you can, have a better chance of getting off the football field and score points. Score points if you're San Francisco. Get yourself up in the game early, get yourself some confidence, and then let's try and roll from there.
Yeah, and I don't think Kyle Shanahan should change his play calling once he does get up.
No.
If he gets up, you need to keep the pedal to the metal. You know what this Rams offense can do. You know that the Rams defense has the ability to lock in and shut you down at any time. They're a very talented group. But there are avenues and weaknesses that they have that you can attack. And I think with any football team there is that. And I know for some people they see this, and I've seen all the 69-0 Rams, 50-3 Rams. What? I mean, come on now. This isn't Madden. This isn't what happens in the games.
Well, they're not. Let's be real, right? Anyone right now that's saying the Niners are going to get waxed and blown out, you are not taking into account anything that this team has done this year. We haven't had a Dolphins-like game.
No.
Hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened. And we don't have the pieces on the field for that to be the case.
Yeah, how much different is the roster now compared to what it was against Green Bay? And Green Bay is considered one of the best teams in the league. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how much different is the roster now compared to Arizona when we lost 17-10? It's not. I mean, that's the thing. The roster hasn't changed a whole lot. There's not a lot of things that have changed. This is still a talented football team. They just have to play better. And I know that's a tall task, but it can really click in a week. We've been around football long enough to see teams that come out of nowhere that are struggling, and all of a sudden they're one of the most formidable teams during the year. I'm not saying that's going to happen to the 49ers. I'm hopeful it's going to happen for the 49ers. But they're still a group that knows how to win. A lot of these players played in the Super Bowl. A lot of these players have won playoff football games. They understand what it takes. Will they be able to do it? I don't know. Will they be able to respond in a big way? I'm hoping. I mean, that's what I've been saying this week, right? They're either going to rise to the occasion in this moment or they're going to shrink. We're going to find out exactly who this football team is because it's going to be Monday night against a rival. And if you can't show up in that situation, you might not show up this year. So I'm really hopeful that they're going to come and show up in a big way and push the Rams to the limit.
Need them to. We need them to push the Rams to the limit. We need to push that team to the brink. Because the Rams have been rolling. They're coming off of a big loss. And if you're the 49ers, yeah, they're coming off a big loss, but they're hungry now to, get that win, get back on the win column. And they just made all these moves. And brought all these guys in. So now they're feeling even more emboldened and more empowered. They feel like this is the team. This is the time. If you can come in and punch them in the mouth, yeah, they're going to punch back. But if you don't back down, you fight, you punch, and you're able to claw this thing out or get a win, they have to take a look at themselves. They have to look around. They're going to have to look around the locker room and be like, this is supposed to be the team. What's going on?
I mean,
It could light a fire, and it could light a fire under them and get them
chemistry.
to another level. It could be that too. But if you're the 49ers, you have an opportunity here where no one expected. You are the underdog. You weren't the underdog last week. People expected you to beat a Cardinals team without Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, and you didn't. You're the underdog now. And you're seeing now some of the fan base where they're at with this team when they're the underdog. Oh, you're going to get blown out. You're going to get obliterated. You have absolutely no chance, whatever. You guys suck. You're trash. Get out of here. That's where they're at. So if you're the 49ers, who cares that you're playing at home? Who cares? Who cares that you're playing there with a fan base that's going to boo on first down?
Well, maybe it'll make you feel like it's an away game.
Maybe. And maybe that'll help a little bit because they play better on the road. But, you don't score on that opening drive and you punt. They're going to boo. Jimmy throws a pick or, makes a mistake. They're going to boo. You know that. You know that you're going to get those things.
I'm not sure if they score on the first drive, they won't.
Who, the 49ers?
Yeah.
If we score on the first drive, they
I'm
won't
not
boo?
sure.
The fan base?
Yeah, I'm not sure that won't happen. I don't have that much faith anymore.
In the fan base?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you're not also wrong.
I mean,
they might.
You never know. You start drinking beers, and
well, now they scored. They're not going to put in Trey Lance.
The reason I say this because there's a section of the fan base right now, right?
That just
we've seen the comments.
They don't care.
They don't want to win. They want to lose because they want Trey Lance to play.
Correct.
And
they're fine with however many losses.
I think there are a lot of fans that are going to be completely happy with the 49ers win, but I do think there's a section that will boo no matter what.
Well, here's the thing too. How many of the fans that are happy if they win are going to actually be at Levi's on Monday? That's the question too. You don't know with the fan base. I don't know what you're going to get.
I'm hoping a lot. I'm hoping the fans show up in a big way. Cheer for the 49ers on national TV and try to help the team win. But we've seen fans also say that they want to see an empty stadium on Monday.
What fan would want the stadium to be empty on Monday? And what do they have, a vendetta against the owner and the players and the coach?
I think that's the definition of salt.
Oh, that is actually. Oh, you mean that's salt and what we were doing with Jalen Hurd wasn't? We're just sad.
I had salt on my beard, so I don't really care.
Okay, well
these aren't gray hairs. These are salt.
Absolutely love it. Look, let us know what you think about the game plan. Are we dead wrong? The 49ers have no chance. There are no chinks in the armor for the Rams, or
no chance.
Did we give you a little bit of insight? No chance in hell. Absolutely. Do we give you a little bit of insight and you feel maybe a little bit better? And if you want to feel even more better, you can head on over to our Patreon and check out the All-22 film breakdown where we look at the Rams game versus the Titans, dive into the film, dive into what went well, what didn't go well for the Rams, what Tennessee did, and maybe even put some nuggets of information away for the Tennessee Titans for later in the year. You won't want to miss that. It's a lot of fun over on Patreon. But Ant, huge game on Monday. I know a couple episodes ago I said any given Sunday when it was really any given Monday.
Well, I mean, that really helps, right? Because there's the only game on Monday. So
It's true. But any given...
It's the first 49ers Monday night game, too.
It is. It's been a while.
You know what they are this season? Undefeated on Monday nights.
Oh, Wando. Oh, but you know what they're not? They're not undefeated on prime time.
It's more prime than Monday Night Football.
You're right, Ant. And
they're undefeated on ESPN.
No atmospheric river, Ant. No atmospheric river to deal with also.
That is true.
That darn atmospheric
river. Look at the optimism. They're playing on Monday. They haven't lost on Monday this year. They're playing the Rams. They haven't lost to the Rams this year. They're playing on ESPN. They haven't lost on ESPN this year.
That's three things going the 49ers' way.
Yeah, see? I mean, right off the bat, it didn't even take me that long to name those things off.
I smacked my mic. That was easy.
So, I mean, 49ers optimism. I love it.
I'm excited about it. I know you are. Yeah. Monday can't get here soon enough. We want this game to be good for San Francisco, good for this team, good for the faithful.
I'm going to be cheering for the 49ers. I just in case anyone was wondering.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure either. You get the hat. It's just, by the way, sweet. Get that sweet 49ers cutback shirt on, too. Yep. They can get it at the merch shop, 49erscutbackshop.com. Or this wonderful Cutback Crew shirt. See, it says Cutback Crew on it. Look at that. Look at that NWO style and everything. But look, we're excited about this game. We know you are too. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button as well. Hit that notification bell too so you don't miss on anything, including Big Yikes, which will be on Monday coming out before the game. 49ers Face-Off coming out Monday morning before the game. And then the game reaction show on Monday after the Monday Night Football game. We're going to have a good old time this week. Ant, go San Francisco. Go 49ers. Yeah, absolutely. Jay in the Bay, man. He went on with that towel where I was dying when he went with the towel. I was absolutely dying when he went with the towel. But no, it's going to be a good week. I'm excited for this Monday Night Football game. We hope you are too. And until then, stay safe.
Remember the right way.
is always the 49ers way.